Hello everyone, welcome back to Boater Cooks Something. It has been 4 years roughly since the last episode, and I had thought that maybe I would end the series and not come back to it. It bothered me though that season 3 ended at just 8 episodes rather than 12, and I always kind of wanted to come back and round that out. Well, I'm recording this in March of 2020, and if you are watching from the future, hello from the past. I'm glad to know that people made it. If you look up the year 2020, I hope all that shows up is just the pandemic we're going through. A lot of people are home. A lot of people are trying to figure out things to do with their time. For me, that's ramping up video production and doing more things, which is why I'm here. But I'm also here because a lot of people are like, well, let me learn to cook some more. Let me learn some new recipes. Let me be able to do more than burn pasta. Sorry if I just called you out there. There's plenty of episodes to watch in the backlist, and we're going to do 4 new episodes over the next few weeks. The first of which is going to be chicken and gnocchi, which I have personally never cooked before. Steph's always taken care of that one. So we're all going on an adventure together. Does that sound good? All right, I'm Boater. Let's cook something. Okay, so for chicken and gnocchi, we're gonna start off ingredient board. How's it going?
I'm doing okay, but am totally unprepared to film an episode today. Sorry.
Yeah, you know what? Next week, we'll get things ready for you, and it's gonna be a simple one next week, so that's fine. I love that you've kind of become this central area for everyone to leave things as they pass through the house.
It's very fulfilling, actually.
Yeah, so why don't you take this one off, and I'm going to turn to the binder that is falling apart.
Aren't we all?
Oh, that is, oh my. And we'll just kind of list these off here. So, hello, blank space in the air. We are going to need, and we're gonna split this up into 2 different things. So the first list is for the gnocchi themselves. You are going to need 2 1-pound packages of gnocchi, 2 tablespoons of butter, and then for seasoning, you're going to need salt, black pepper, and fresh parsley. Or, as I like to call it, a little bit that was still left in a spice rack that I got and have slowly kind of been refilling as we go here. Dried is better for apocalypses, it lasts longer. You'll also need 1 pound of chicken because for some reason I was blind in the list and didn't include it. So yes, that's gonna be in the first list there. Thank you. Then we're going to have a second step, a second list, and this is going to be for the sauce. So we are going to start off with a 1/4 cup of butter. Garlic, this says 4 cloves minced. You can look up the exact ratio of what would be needed for garlic if you have pre-minced garlic, or you can measure that with your heart, and that's fine. That's what we do in this kitchen. You'll need 2 tablespoons of flour, 2 cups of chicken broth. In this particular case, they didn't have the big thing of chicken broth, so we have a 14.5 ounce can, and that is going to be close enough. 2 tablespoons thyme, 1 teaspoon basil, 1 cup half and half, 1 cup Parmesan cheese, and then salt and pepper, again, to taste. Don't close that, I'm gonna need it. Adventure time, here we go. Before cooking, you need to wash your hands. Now, clearly it has been something that has been said on Boater Cooks Something many a time that washing your hands is important, but in our current climate, it's even more important, and you should be doing it. You should be washing your hands. There will be a supplementary video on proper hand washing technique later on, but that's not today, so just wash up and we'll get started. First, we are putting some water on the boil over here, that side, there we go. And this is going to be for the gnocchi. We will not be doing anything with the gnocchi except combining it with a whole bunch of stuff at the end, which is fine because it takes like 20 minutes for water to come to a boil on the stove. Oh my God. A little bit of salt in there as well. Take a large skillet or big old pot like this because you're gonna end up stirring things around. You want something with walls. We have this Dutch oven here, turn that up to high, and we're taking that first couple tablespoons. We're taking that first couple tablespoons of butter, melting that in here. Next, we are throwing in this chicken, which has been graciously pre-cut for us. Thank you, Steph. A little bit of chicken hand here, but that's fine. Add salt, pepper, and your parsley for seasoning. Let me wash this so I don't gotta deal with that. Bit of salt, bit of pepper. And that is not 2 tablespoons, so we'll just kind of huck all that. Ooh, that was a lot of hucking. That was a lot of hucking parsley. Stir it, and then maybe another round of that salt, pepper, parsley, just to get decent, even coverage in there. If you think you have used enough parsley, you have not. If you think you've used a little bit too much, keep going. If you think you've used quite a fair amount too much, that might be good, but that's a good place to stop, figure it out afterward, and then next time you cook, doing a bit more. I've only done a little too much, so in a little bit more goes. This is fresher dry parsley, so it's greener. Yay. Keep stirring this. This is on high heat, so it's going to cook pretty fast. Once it is cooked, we will then remove it from the heat. So have a bowl or something set aside and ready to go. All right, I would say that's probably cooked all the way through, but we can always grab one of the bigger pieces to cut in half to check. And by that I mean, do as I say, not as I do. Cooked and delicious. If it was not cooked, I would have spit it back out, but not into there. Well, it's just for me and Steph, so I would have, but maybe not. Do as I say, not as I do. Cut it in half, check. All right, this is all set, so we can remove it. We are not going to strain it, so just scoop it out here. We are going to be leaving in the butter, some of the spice that has come out there, some of the grease that has come out of the chicken, and we'll be putting more into here. I'm gonna turn this down for a second because I am going to have to reference the broken binder of recipes. Okay, everything's out. Keep this covered and hot, and it will be time to move on to doing the sauce. All right, now is time for the 1/4 cup of butter, or a half a stick. Turn that back up, kind of trying to grab up some of the stuff that has slightly grabbed onto the bottom in the meantime. This is all stuff that we are going to want, but ideally maybe have your 1/4 stick of butter ready to drop in as soon as your chicken comes out. Once that's melted down, time to add some garlic. As measuring with our heart goes, we're gonna do about 4 heaping tablespoons. Much like the parsley, if it looks like too much, it's not. While that garlic is starting to saute, according to the recipe, as it gets a fragrance, the water for the gnocchi is starting to boil, so I'm gonna toss that in right now. Ah, I did not think that through. That is splashy, that is hot. Make sure that you're mixing those buddies up as well. Garlic over here is, yep, that's getting good. Make sure that you keep mixing, and I think it's about ready. Time for some flour to go in. 2 tablespoons, not heaping. Whee! We want to get all that flour mixed in so that we've got a nice consistent texture. I don't think it would be called a roux. I don't think it would be called a dredge. I only know some of these words because I rewatched basically all of Boater Cook Something in Fast Forward. Dredge comes from the pork marsala episode with Chris Detlef, and man, we gotta do that again. And roux comes from basically anything with Jen. Now that the garlic and flour and such is browned, we add in the chicken broth, which should, you know, slow all that down just a little bit. In we go. Cool. Hello, gnocchi. Mix, mix, mix. You're probably getting close to done. Yep. All right, let's get the spices in here first. 1 teaspoon thyme. And half that of basil. Cool, thanks for... Did I not actually roll you? You son of a... I was not rolling. I had a close-up camera over here the whole time. I'm out of practice. Hi everybody. Look, it's got like chicken broth and stuff like that, and the gnocchi are done. So we're gonna strain that. Hey you're getting bubbly. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Get you all nice and stirred up. Now that that's all incorporated and we've got our gnocchi off to the side, it is time for Parmesan, and for the half and half, 1 cup of each. Cool. Mix that as it goes in. Hey, you big chunks of, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Good. And the same for the half and half. Yeah, buddy. Get everything all stirred and mixed back together. Oh yeah, that looks good. I mean, we still got some of those big Parmesan chunks in there, but that's why you can use your spoon like this. You can straight up use a whisk if you really want to make sure that you get in there and break anything up. But I'm dirtying enough things with this meal, so you know, we'll keep the number of implements to a minimum. We're just gonna wait for this to bubble just a little bit, just to thicken a tad. It is already kind of thick, but you know, we're happy to let that reduce just a little bit more. Basically, let it start bubbling a bit. In the meantime, taste it however you wish. I think that's good. If it's not, a little more salt and pepper if you want. Waiting for that, maybe clean up the mess you've made of the entire place. Now that it's bubbling, I'm gonna give it another stir, but all the Parmesan has been incorporated. The sauce is nice and hot and not gonna immediately cool anything that goes into it. So it is time to add our stuff back in. Let's start with the gnocchi. Oh, you are a solid chunk. Cool. Mix that around just to break up the gnocchi a little bit. Make sure that there's sauce all up in all those pieces, because give it half a chance and you will have fused pieces of gnocchi together. So get the sauce in there and then we'll add the chicken. Yeah. Little piece. Mix this up, incorporate this up, and then you're basically ready to serve. You can turn off that heat and scoop some out. And there we go. That was maybe more than I should have served at once. Let's eat. So when you serve it, I did use the same slotted spoon that I'd use for cooking it. Maybe use a solid spoon, get a little bit more sauce, but if you plan on going back for seconds, the sauce will have thickened up and be fine for your second time around anyway. Either way, it's utterly delicious and I love it. And now I know how to make it, but it's probably still gonna be something Steph does when it's her turn. Either way, here's one more recipe that we can add to our arsenal. There will be 3 more episodes coming out over the next few weeks in order to have a full 12 episode season of Butter Cook Something that has taken 6 years to produce from start to finish. Awesome, right? Anyway, new recipes coming here in the next few weeks. Be sure to subscribe right here, youtube.com/butterbug, and follow at facebook.com/buttercooksomething. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good one, and I will see you next week. Oh, is this still recording? Damn it.
Wow.
It's been like 2 hours.
Wow.
It has 6% battery left. Another 5 minutes, it would have beeped off on its own. The same way it came into this world.